Hello and welcome to this video on my YouTube channel. It's going to be a guide to Matchday 5, the quarterfinals for Euro Fantasy 2024. We're going to have a look at the draw, how that might impact what players we go for and how many from each team. Have a look at some key stats too. And I've got a bold strategy for defenders too, which we will run through when we get there. I'm going to talk about all my top transfers, which I will use a sort of wildcard team as a vehicle to do that, because I know a lot of people are also going to be on their wildcard in the quarterfinals because that was a popular strategy. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is actually the second time recording this video, because guess who decided to record the first one with the microphone muted? Yep, that was me. Okay, so let's have a look at this draw first of all. So we've got Spain versus Germany, which is going to be a really tough game to decide who is going to sort of go through and progress from. We've got the home nation against the best team sort of as looks on the eye in Spain so far this tournament. In fact, Germany could be even argued as the second best team that have sort of we've seen in the tournament too. So it's going to be a really tough game to call. So for that reason, I think we need to be limited with how many players we go for. From each of these sides, so we don't want to knock too many teams out. Because as a reminder, if you've not got a wild card left, then you're going to only have 4 free transfers in the semi-finals to sort of sort out any teams that have been knocked out in your team. Some interesting stats from Spain and Germany, though. They are the two best teams from an attacking point of view for XG per 90. So Spain at 2.2 and Germany at 1.9. So backing their forward players could also be key. You can also see from a defensive point of view that their expected goals conceded stats per 90 are also very similar. So I think on paper this is going to be a really close game. Might not actually be that many goals, even though they both sort of have some of the best attacks in the tournament so far. Next up, we got that game between Portugal and France. Now, France and Portugal are both teams that have been massively underperforming their XG per 90. I mean, Portugal's will be skewed slightly because of that missed penalty from Ronaldo, but they're two teams that are not scoring as many goals as they potentially should have. So maybe those goals will come, but they have both been decent enough from a defensive point of view, particularly France, who have been only conceding an XG per 90 of 0.65, which is the lowest in the tournament so far. So putting some French defenders in our team could actually be key, even though on paper that might look a tricky fixture against Portugal. Next up is that game between the Netherlands and Turkey. Now, on paper, I think this is the one we need to back. Netherlands are the team that probably got the easiest draw out of anyone left in the competition. So I think we need to go big on Netherlands, maybe 4 players. Some people might even be bold enough to go as many as 5. It certainly is tempting, particularly from an attacking point of view, because you will notice that Turkey's got the worst defence out of anybody left in the competition by some distance as well. Their expected goals conceded per 90 is 1.98, which, when you consider the fact that the next worst is Switzerland at 1.05, it really does highlight how sort of poor Turkey have been from a defensive point of view. Netherlands have been a sort of a mid-ranked team sort of in terms of attack, but in that last game against Romania, they did look really good, really free-flowing, created lots of chances. So if they repeat that performance against Turkey too, I think there could be lots of goals for the Netherlands in the quarterfinals coming up. And then the last quarterfinal is England versus Switzerland. This, again, is another tough game to call, but England will be the favourites slightly, I imagine. England have been decent enough from a defensive point of view. The 4th best defence sort of from an XG conceded per 90 at 0.77, but England's attack is really lacking. They have the worst attack out of anyone left in the tournament by some way at 0.86 per 90 XG. So we might want to be careful about how many England attackers we go for, but we might have our hand forced to still go for someone like Bellingham, which is a spoiler alert, he is in the team, because there really isn't that many midfielders to choose from, unfortunately, I don't think, anyway. Okay, so let's have a look at this wildcard team. And yes, of course, these are also my top transfers to bring in this week. So there's still value to get out of this video, even if you are not on a wildcard for this week. So the 2 goalkeepers that I've gone with are Maignan, playing Portugal. You'll see the France clean sheet odds are 38%, the 3rd best of the quarterfinals, and Pickford, who has got the best clean sheet odds, joint with Netherlands at 42%. Those are the reason why I've gone for those keepers. Obviously, there is an argument you could go for a Netherlands goalkeeper in there too, but when we get to defence, you'll see that I have actually doubled up on the Netherlands defence instead. So you could do a bit of rotation there if you wanted between France defenders, Netherlands goalkeepers. So here's that defence that I was talking about. And for this defence, I am going for all out on ball recoveries. I've been thinking about this, right? So if you have a really good defender from an attacking point of view, you might expect to get an attacking return maybe every 5 games, maybe every 4 if they were really good. Well, ball recoveries feels just like a really consistent way to get points. Instead of that, fine, an assist might get you more than 2 points for 6 ball recoveries, but if that player does 6 ball recoveries in every game between here and the end of the tournament, I guarantee that player is going to get more points than trying to chase after assists. That player might only get 1 assist between here and the end of the tournament if they go that far in. So for that reason, I think it's just better to go for the consistent ball recovery points. So I've put the ball recovery point stats here of the players that I have gone with, and you'll see that they are quite high. But I'll talk about them in more detail when we sort of go through the team. So we've gone with Netherlands, double defence, as I mentioned in the goalkeeper section. So we've got Van Dijk and De Vrij. So they are the 2 best ball recovering defenders for the Netherlands. And you saw that they did have the best clean sheet odds joint with England when we went through the goalkeepers too. So those are the reasons why I have gone with those 2 players. Now, Kyle Walker's ball recovery stats aren't great. We know that Gahey is the best ball recoverer for England by an absolute mile. At one point, he was the best ball recoverer in the tournament. Unfortunately, he is suspended. Walker is the next best. Now, there is rumours that England are going to move to a back 5, which could see Walker move to right centre-back, which I actually think will help his ball recoveries even more. So I actually do then think that Walker could even push up towards those sort of 6-7 ball recovery mark as a result of moving to centre-back, if that does happen. Next up, we've got Portugal's Pepe, who, even though he's over 40 years old, is still an absolute monster at the back with the amount of ball recoveries he's getting. He's averaging 10 ball recoveries a match, which is absolutely incredible from Pepe. So he is in there because, well, France haven't actually looked that good from an attacking point of view, so could pick up a clean sheet, but Pepe could easily still get lots of ball recoveries in this match. And the same reason, again, why Akanji is in there, because England haven't looked that good from an attacking point of view. So there is still always a chance that Akanji will keep a clean sheet, even though I do think England probably will in reality score. But again, we know that there's a good chance that he will get ball recoveries with those. He's averaging 7.25 ball recoveries per game so far, which is huge. I have also listed some possible swaps from the defensive point of view that you could do. So Koundé has got some, you guessed it, fantastic ball recovery stats too. And we saw that France have the lowest XG conceded per 19 team out of anyone left in the tournament. So I still think there's a good chance that France keep that clean sheet, as I have stressed earlier with the goalkeeper pick. So you could move on one of these defenders to Koundé if you fancied that instead. Okay, so moving on to the midfield, we've gone with double Spanish midfielders in there. I've gone with Rodri over Fabian Ruiz in this team. Now, that is probably a 50-50 call. I've gone with Rodri because I think his floor is higher because, again, you guessed it, because of the ball recoveries, he might get 4 points if he didn't get any attacking returns. But Ruiz, I kind of feel, is like a 2 or a 7 player. So Rodri's kind of, they might get that sort of middle 4-ish sort of points that might actually be enough that you keep in your team. So I've kind of gone a bit safe there with Rodri. If you're feeling a bit bold, you could go for Ruiz. And I actually still really like Pedri, even though he was the only midfielder who didn't do anything for Spain. He's still got some really good underlying data from the game so far. He's been really lucky not to get more attacking returns. So do not be surprised if Pedri gets an attacking return against Germany, because I do think he is due. Nico Williams has been a star of this tournament so far. Goal and assist in the last game, particularly in the last 2 games, particularly in the game against Italy and the last game. He's been absolutely fantastic. So he's actually been given the armband as a result of how good his form has been. I do feel happy to go with a more risky captaincy pick on day 1, because I do feel that Gakpo is a really good captaincy pick on day 2. So I'm happy to take a bit of a punt on that day 1 captaincy with Williams. Musiala, who has been on fantastic form for Germany, 3 goals so far. He's sort of essential when you compare him to the other midfield options that we've got to choose from. Bellingham, while hasn't passed the eye test very much for England so far, still has scored 2 goals. Seems to find a way of popping up to score goals for England when it's needed. So for that reason, he is in this team. And then finally, the last midfielder that I've gone with is Xavi Simons, who's got 2 assists so far. And we mentioned that we do expect Netherlands to create lots of chances against Turkey. So I do think there is potential for more attacking returns from Xavi Simons. And then finally, moving on to that forward line. Now, this is going to be the template forward line. I imagine this is the forward line you'll see in most of the teams. This is the safe forward line. It's Kane, Mbappe, and Gakpo. These are all going to be highly owned, so if you bet against these players, you've got to be prepared to be stung. However, I think if you were going to gamble anywhere away from the template, this could be the place to do it. Harry Kane and Mbappe, not done loads so far this tournament. Both the teams faltering a bit from an attacking point of view. If you're really bold, I think you could actually double up on Netherlands forwards and go for Depay and Gakpo. We know Gakpo's been really good form in the tournament so far. Depay, he's on set pieces. He has still scored a goal. He's got routes to points. I wouldn't rule out going for a double Netherlands attack. But in here, I have put the safe play in of Kane, Mbappe, and Gakpo because this is the one that's covering off all the high ownership, so you don't get stuck. So that is a decision I'll leave for you, whether you want to take that risk. But I do quite like it, and it's something that I am tempted to do in my own team. However, I am not playing my wild card. So that is my team. Those are my favourite transfers to bring in this week. As a result, if you enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like. If you really enjoyed it and want to watch more of our videos, then please consider subscribing too. I would absolutely love that. And of course, there will be FPL content if that is your thing when the season starts soon. I imagine the game will be dropping in the next sort of week or so. So we're all excited for when that happens. So thank you all for watching and good luck for Matchday 5. And I'll see you in the next lot of videos for the semi-finals.